guy pulls back. But he's getting like to single leg X and X guard. Like he's playing it quite well. Okay.
I want to see how he's playing it.
It's got to get you in.
I'm going to get in there on that boy.
But
Get that boy.
competition. Competitive experiences.
So you've had a couple of competitions.
I've had a couple.
Been around the block a little bit.
Right. Okay. Right.
Cried in the shower a few times.
Cried in the shower a few times. I can see clear now.
You said you wouldn't bring it up.
Oh, bro, I fucking.
You got to travel around a bit, really, as well, competing, man.
Bro.
You think where you fought in where? America,
Abu Dhabi, California.
Cali.
Like I didn't like. Don't get me wrong.
Bristol.
I didn't go those places didn't go those places prolifically because I was fucking poor.
Yeah.
Like, but I remember when I booked the flight to California, the flight was like £400. I was like, my rent is £400, and the flight to California is £400.
How much money did you have?
£400. And the smart idea in me was like, I suppose I better go California. Fucking, and then going by myself with no plan.
Yeah.
And then like some of my mates jumped in on it.
Jerry
Basically,
Badge,
yeah,
man.
Jerry Badge, fucking Dave, Jack, like. They thankfully rescued me because I would have just landed in California and got deported. They would have thought I was like coming over the border or something like that. It's like, who is this man? But
Mate, you went to Abu Dhabi as well, man. Like,
Bro.
literally, you know what I mean?
that made a terrible mistake. Wore a long sleeve top. You know what I mean? I just thought like I'd acclimatise. Nah, I was like, bro, even like
You're in a desert.
bro, a dude even said to me, he was like, bro, why are you wearing a long sleeve top? I'm like, I have no idea. Like I'm just like boiling alive here.
And obviously.
But Rome, I bet like fucking headbutted a guy because he headbutted. So basically, what happened was
He head clashed. And
no. So right, imagine this, right? I'm in closed guard. Again, I've had a lot of brain damage, so don't trust what I say. Imagine like, you know, sometimes you break people's posture, bring them down. Imagine as I do that, he just goes, yeah. And I remember being in closed guard and being like, what the fuck is going on? Gets to the end of the fight and I was so pissed off because he just like did that, scored some points and ran away. And we stood up. And again, I was an asshole. But I was so annoyed that he headbutted me. I was like, 5 seconds left, I can get away with this. Jumping guillotine and headbutted him. And it was like...
Too obvious.
Too obvious. And I remember what was beautiful at the time is when the match was over, I walked over to my coach and he went, shame about the performance, but lovely headbutt. And I was like, I'm not sure that's what I needed to hear, but it did help.
Yeah.
But Rome Open was also the first IBJF tournament I won at Blue Belt. And that was like, fuck it. I fought a guy in there called Reese Duran, like, who I don't know what the fuck he's doing now, but I remember him being like fucking. He fucked me up a few times in competition.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. Like he was like, if I saw him in my division, I'd be like, oh fuck.
That dude.
And it was at the Nogi Rome Open where I beat him for the first time. And it's like, it's not like I'm holding on to that victory or anything, but he was like a tough motherfucker. And it's like,
It was a Wednesday.
Bro, it was a Wednesday. The air was tepid. The taxi was late. No, but the point being, it was like I kind of got over that hurdle for the first time, and it's like I just went on to like win the.
You put a lot of pressure on yourself though back.
Yeah. Oh, bro. Like
you didn't enjoy competition. You did it a lot, man, which is testament to you. But you did enjoy it. Like it was clear to anyone that the anxiety and the stress and the way you would beat yourself up over the slot, even if you won a match where you didn't win it with what you wanted to win it with, you beat yourself up. Like, yeah, man. Like you were too focused on the negative instead of the positives.
Bro, that's why it was so good to have time away from competition.
You felt a little bit competing, didn't you, really? I think
I stopped in 2021.
Yeah.
And then I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna take some time away from the sport, away from the sport and shit. It's like
you still trained.
Yeah, I still trained, but like very
competition scene.
Bro, just trained and like
trained a lot really. Fought MMA instead for a couple of fights.
Fucking
yeah.
Scariest. You know what? I think I would.
Big 84.
I would say this. I would recommend to any jiu-jitsu guy who has anxiety about competing, do one MMA fight.
Yeah.
Because I did 2.
That takes some balls, man. I ain't done
Bro,
that.
I did 2.
No way, Sally.
With like fucking. I'm not gonna lie. Wasn't like a professional MMA gym, but the coaches were dedicated.
Yeah.
You know, and they did like. They focused in on a lot of things with me, and it's like, you know, they gave a lot of time, and I'll always appreciate that.
Yeah,
and it's good. Like,
very good.
You know, they came to like the second fucking.
Again, falling back to, we've always been blessed with having top 2
That's
coaches.
what I mean, like, you know.
Your MMA, your Muay Thai coach was absolutely
high
amazing,
level,
dude,
high level Muay Thai,
humble,
and like a high level black belt. Who's fought MMA.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, even though
encyclopedias.
Even though it's not like a prolific MMA gym, they're doing well, man. Like fucking, and I got through 2 MMA fights with very limited experience in MMA. I'm not gonna lie, I got some brain damage. I think I had some from like competing before.
You're not a striker, are you? Like, you know what I mean?
Bro.
You can. You've trained that for a year and a bit, maybe.
Bro.
But, like, in comparison
my striking style is anxiety.
But you can tell you second fight,
bro.
You ate 2 big hammer fists and it was like...
I'm pulling guard.
Bro. I'm an armbar this bitch, fuck this.
I'm just saying, I don't want to cause any beef, but I pulled guard more effectively than Cron Gracie did in the UFC.
Yeah, you did do very well, but I will also say there was a very big difference in opponent as well. But although he was a big dude, man.
Bro, he was a beefcake.
Cut, man, to have made that. Because even the commentators, man, when the commentators were like, "Oh my god, that's a big 84." He must have been about 90 on the day, bless him. But then, Gasquick didn't he depleted, man. He fought well. He did really well, man.
Oh, bro,
striking, his takedown defense was top, man. Like, he was good. He renegade, didn't it? You know what I mean? A really high level gym. You know, you had Jake Hadley in the audience there, weren't there?
Bro, I'm not gonna lie. That when you told me that afterwards, I was so glad you didn't tell me beforehand. Because I'm already looking at this giant dude who's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, they're all out of his team, like, you know, going, come on, I'm like, oh shit.
I'm gonna be real. Anyone who says like, you know, I'm not scared, lad. Like, you're either a very good actor. Or there's something wrong with you.
Maybe you should go outside.
Bro, I was absolutely terrified. When I was stood in the wings, they were like, yeah, you're going to go on in a few minutes. And I remember being there, topless, in my fucking these shorts, being topless and being like, all I could think was, oh, it's really cold.
Do you think?
He walked past me, and I was like, he's really fucking big.
Wow.
And then it was like, oh yeah, yesterday. Bro, literally,
he's been pumped up.
you know what's really fucked up though? I was kind of okay, and then in the back room, like, there was this girl who was warming up. I can't remember. She was some gym in Cov, like an MMA gym in Cov. I can't remember what the fuck it was. Anyway, point being, like, our team and their team are chatting and sharing a few laughs. She fights before me. It's like 7 minutes or something like that passes. She comes back in, covered in blood.
Oh, is that the girl that got battered?
Yeah.
That girl teed off on her, man. I remember, she got pushed against the cage, bro. You didn't see it, man. And then this girl was treated like a punch bag.
Bro, it was horrific.
Like, off, man. It was like, oh, damn.
But you got to understand.
Shit.
From my perspective, I didn't see that. So all I saw was her come in like that. Worst bit was I went to the toilet. There's just blood everywhere. I'm just stood there like, I'm gonna go fight a giant. Like, oh my god, I'm gonna die. Like, I was like, what am I doing? Why am I here? Why has anyone even agreed to let me do this? Bro, Jim went with me to the weigh-in. Like, it was nice because Jim was kind of like a silent hype man. Because I was freaking out, and he was like, "Yeah, man, like, go on." Yeah. Just that silent vote of confidence I needed. It was like, yeah, I am gonna.
You waded in like denim calves, didn't you?
Yeah, I waded in my denim shorts and fucking boots.
Yeah.
And it was like
still underweight.
Bro, still underweight. And fucking in the car back afterwards, just being like, oh my god. kept saying to Jim, I was like, "Did you feel that guy was really jacked?" He's like, "Yeah, he looks about the same." Like, trying to make me feel better, which I appreciate.
No, he was tiny.
Bro,
sunlight hitting him from a certain angle.
Bro, he looked like Baywatch.
Yeah, man.
Like, genuinely, I was like, "What the fuck?" I was like, "How are we the same?" But
yeah, man. But like you say, though, it takes away the anxiety of.
Yeah, you go into it.
But I will say that I think, to be honest, mate, going into this since you've started again, your mentality's changed, man. You're not like, I'm gonna hurt this guy. I've got to win at all costs. I can give nothing. I've got to take everything. It's changed, man. To I'm gonna keep playful, man. I'm gonna have fun. Like, bro. And you have never looked better. Like
you know,
glazing your ear a little bit, but like honestly, it's the best version of it. Which I think is down to. Sorry, I'm talking over you. Shut up, little boy.
Whoa! Oh, fucking finish you again.
But it's down to John and it, man.
Yeah.
Like, I think personally, because when you start going into that frame of mind, he tells you, he's just like, no. You know, Callum, stop that, man. The best you is when you know what I mean? Like, and he's,
to be fair,
honestly, again, glazing John again, man, but like, I think having a coach that's so not afraid to be honest with you and tell you where they feel like you like when you walk outside a gym with a rubber gun down your pants, like, you know what I mean, waving it around outside. Like, we're not just be like, yeah, that's acceptable, fine, that's fine.
No, he reins
a gangster or nothing, you know what I mean?
He reins me in.
Yeah, you know what I mean? You need somebody that reins you in. You do need somebody that can call you on your bullshit at times, you know what I mean? Like, to say like, we're all guilty of it, aren't we? We're all guilty of being idiots at times, man, you know what I mean?
Bro.
I say at times, man, sometimes more than you wish, like, you know what I mean? But
the thing is, like,
you need somebody that's honest with you that can rein you in.
All credit to Johnny as well. He just puts you at ease, man. And it's like, I don't know, he doesn't give off any like pressure. Like, I don't feel like.
Fuck you unless you roll them, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that's a different story. But it's like when you go and compete, and I found this with him as well. It was like he was relaxed, therefore I was relaxed. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like sometimes I feel like maybe if someone's got an anxious energy or like they're putting a lot of pressure on it, it can kind of rub off on the people around. Where Johnny doesn't expect.
I feel like somebody doesn't. They don't know how to be around you, so they're just uncomfortable. You know what I mean? Because they don't know what to say, they don't know what to do, they're uncomfortable in silence sometimes and stuff like that. Whereas sometimes you need to be able to sit there and just sit there.
There was times where we were warming up. There was times where we were warming up and it was just like silence. Then music would come on and then it would be like a bit like fucking around. And then it would be like back to technique, okay, just some like fucking little creativity drills and stuff. Okay, heartbeat's up, let's bring it back down. Okay, like we kind of figured out a good rhythm, but it's because no one's trying to like.
I feel like this is why, again, it's taking away the glaze from John now, but to yourself, because you've started like your own little private club, haven't you? Like sort of thing where you're giving these private sessions.
Yeah, we've got smoking jackets.
Yeah, it's a gentleman's club. But it's like instead of just doing it as like singular with people, it's like
every month.
It's a team. So every month, the people that have privates with you, they all get together. Yeah. They're all from different gyms, all from different backgrounds, all from different goals. Some want it for MMA, some want it for jiu-jitsu. You know what I mean? Like, and they all come together and they all share and they all like, and then you'll have guests come because you've been doing it a long time. You've got a lot of high-level mates in the game. You know what I mean? So again, it's. I think them years of competing, you know what's good coaching, you know what's bad coaching, you know what I mean? Like, you've experienced it from a child through to your 20s, and unfortunately for me, you're only still fucking in your 20s, you know what I mean?
Bro.
Like me,
going on
2 years,
bro, I'm going on 50
in the 40 club, man. You
bro.
look it though.
Yeah,
with that melon head, man. I love that, to be fair. Like, when my grades are all cut off, like, fucking. I love it when they're like, who's older?
Benjamin.
Had a tough paper route.
Benjamin Burton.
Yeah, Benjamin Burton.
I got puns.
So, how do you feel like from warming up for jiu-jitsu competitions compared to like your MMA? Like, was that different?
MMA is like a lot of drill. I found was like a lot of drill. Like from my limited experience, I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, I'm an MMA guy. I'm a jiu-jitsu guy who's had 2 MMA fights. Like people like fucking Mikey Tranter, man. Yeah. That's a real motherfucking MMA. Like, bro, he's a fucking killer. But my point being, like, what was the question?
Mikey Tranter popped into his head. It's
all coming back.
So,
We've got a story about that. We'll do that for another time.
So camps, your jiu-jitsu camp running.
Yeah. So the MMA camp, obviously, like trying to get like striking sparring in and stuff like that, but. And then obviously a lot of the time we pretty much went to wrestling more than jiu-jitsu.
Like shark tanking rounds.
Like shark tanking rounds. Like one of my favourite things to do, especially for like if I'm preparing, and Johnny did this to me, the fucker. Like is you're down for 10 minutes or sometimes like 3 minutes, and every minute there's a new person, but starting in a bad position.
I always like to go last. Send in the chunky boy when he's tired.
Mount, head and arm. It's like, oh fuck. But it's like that kind of shit, and it's like I don't know. I feel like there was a point in training where it was like the ethos of training was kind of like. You have to be winning everything
Win at all costs.
to be good. Whereas it's kind of like I kind of realise now. Like I always use the example with people like when I roll. I'm not saying this is the right way. I'm just saying this is like my approach. If I'm rolling, I'm like, okay, it's a 5-minute round. If this was a competition, I only need to sub you once to win.
Yeah.
So it's like if I'm looking at it from that perspective, I'm like, okay. So why don't we just maximise the amount of time we're controlling, making them work, tiring them out, and almost getting them to a point where they give you the submission.
That is my favourite way, man, of dominating a man. It's like that's why I love pressure passing, because I feel like if you can break somebody before you even get to the submission part, like then when you throw the submission up, like they fucking tap quick, man. Like cooking people in like a pressure pass is, I enjoy that more than submitting people. I'm not gonna lie, man. When you put that nice pressure pass in, you can feel their will just sapping away and breaking, man. And then they just let you pass, when they just drop their hips or whatever, open their legs, it's like let's go. I love it, man.
The only kryptonite is when you get someone who's like. Really good at guard and leg, and sometimes
crazy leg dexterity,
bro. And you get into these like super technical matches, which are like stalemate. Like if anyone was to watch, it's like this is boring as shit.
Yeah.
But when you're in there, it's like I'm grabbing a foot, I'm moving his shin, he's weaved his knee in here, I'm dropping my weight.
Just a leg
it does look like that, but there's so much going on there, and it's like, you know, it becomes a point where it's like one of us is going to open up at some point, and it's like. Then there's going to be a mad scramble or something like that. And it's like, or it just becomes like very shut down, and it's like, you know. Well, one of the things I've found I've got to work on is like sometimes I'll get into that and I'll be a bit too content to sort of like keep trying to unravel the puzzle. When really the answer might be, I've got to abandon this path and go somewhere else.
Yeah, man.
Like I think sometimes it's easy to be like a dog on a bone and be like, fuck, this is it, and it's like. You know,
sometimes you can burn yourself out hunting.
Hunting one thing.
Where sometimes, but then it's difficult. It's difficult, though, isn't it? It's like sometimes you can have like a submission where it's not quite there yet, but it is still working, especially with chokes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where like you can restrict your flow and stuff like that. So that it may not be a quick 5-second tap or a 3-second tap, but like you hold it there for 30 seconds there. They're gonna start to go. Like you know what I mean? So it's find that finesse, that fine line between the two, isn't it? Or being able to tweak a submission without giving up pressure and positional control, like, you know what I mean? It's I feel like that a lot of times when people have it, it's really tight, man. You're like, oh shit, man, if they hold this, I'm gonna tap. But then when they try and readjust it, they actually loosen it, and it's just like, thank fuck for that. Right. If they hadn't done tried to readdress the position, you know what I mean, it would have been fine. But
the thing is,
for them it would have been, not for me. But
the thing is, like,
that fine line is figuring it out.
You have all these theories and you have all these like principles of like how you train jiu-jitsu, and then one day you just train with someone who just fucking smashes you. And you just
man.
And like it's like everything I thought I knew.
That's that drive home and you don't put no music on nothing, man. You just like get home, you just like, and you sit on your sofa. Just you get
into the shower.
What happened?
You get into the shower still in your kit. You just sort of, what's wrong?
Yeah, man, fucking. But hey ho, that's what it keeps you on your toes, though, isn't it, man? Like, where it's, you know, if that's the kind of thing that's going to make you quit a sport or whatever, then obviously you need to take up like crochet or like.
Right. I think sometimes as well there's this thing of like when people have been training a long time, it's like you kind of have this expectancy on yourself where it's like, hey, because of how long I've been training, I should be winning every round. I should be winning.
And I think it also doesn't help when you're known to be good. The pressure that puts on you sometimes a little bit when everybody's like, oh, he's really good, he is. so you feel pressured into putting on a
performance
worthy of a highlight reel every time. You know what I mean?
Bro,
whereas you got to be with your rounds and that, man. You got to work new shit, man. You got to let people get something, like, because how are you going to get good at escaping the back if nobody ever gets you back? But then you eventually go against the guy who gets you back, and you're like, fuck.
Bro.
You know what I mean? Like you need to let people get things to let you progress your positions and get better all round instead of just being your A game. You know what I mean?
That's the thing, isn't it? It's like if you get attached to the idea of winning in training, you can sort of stunt your progress. Like that was my problem when I was competing a lot. It was like I had to win everything to win in comp, and it's like now all the training I've been doing, it's like you just sometimes you just put yourself somewhere, and it's like
I think it's important as well not to look at thousands of techniques, but spend some time on certain aspects, certain parts of a game. Like, you know what I mean?
I'd say dedicate a month to something, maybe a month or two.
Yeah.
Like,
you just
take as long as it needs for it to start being effective. And if after a certain amount of time
that don't
it's
mean
not
your
working,
classes. If your school teaches a different technique a week, that's standard, man.
Yeah, but in your own time.
But in your own time, when you're sparring and stuff like that, you can pick something to work, can't you?
Yeah.
I want to work my top half. I want to work my bottom half. I want to work my bottom side control escapes or whatever. Like, but you can purposely get there, but it's letting your ego allowing you to do that. Yeah. Not like as soon as like, oh, I'm going to do that, slap, bump, like, you know what I mean? Like straight to the death, innit, man? It's like,
and it's accepting that you could get tapped there.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I think people get tapped, and it's like, oh fuck, like if I get tapped, it means I'm bad at the sport.
Because I remember getting annoyed when you'd let a lower belt work. Like, you know what I mean? And then you'd hear them boasting about that success to their pal or something, and you'd be like,
you have no idea.
What? And let you do all of that? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like,
come here.
But then, so you can understand how, like, I suppose it's good for their morale, but at the same time, like, you don't want to then be that guy that's like, dude, I'll let you do that.
I think,
like, you know what I mean? Like, instead of like, sure you did, buddy, sure you did. Like, you know what I mean? But it is a fine line of not having to help people progress, isn't it, really? Is not having ego in that sense. Not in just having to win every round for a good hooky, you know what I mean? It's somebody that lets somebody work as well, man. Fucking food for thought. If they ever tap me, I just let them work.
It's like, I'll tell you what, last week...
Coach you through it just as you're about to tap me. What you want to do here, Playboy, is
you want to grab this.
Roll that shoulder in there, that's it. Oh, you weren't going to go unless I gave you that detail.
Last week, good example, Jack, who's been training like a year a bit now. Like, been doing fucking sessions with him and shit like that. But like, we train a lot together at Manifest as well, and what's really good is like, fucking you train him, but like he'll go and talk to people and get different ideas and perspectives and stuff like that. And it's like, as an instructor, like sometimes I feel like instructors will be like, oh no, just come to me kind of thing. It's like, come get the information off, but don't go to other people. It's like, when you get someone, especially at white belt, just go ask questions, go try shit, go work with different, don't be afraid to ask a higher belt to rock. I don't get that. Why it's like, oh, if you're a lower belt, you can't ask a higher belt to, like, because there's loads of situations when I was like a lower belt and I saw someone who was a higher level, and I was so worried to ask them.
But you want to feel what that level's like. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
You want them to let you work a little bit, obviously, but for me though, I didn't, man. I wanted to get like
smashed.
I wanted to get smashed hard, man. Like we used to get the guys come over from Birmingham and stuff like that. Like, and obviously when it's a small club and it's starting out, really, it was like not a time it was popular, which was it, so there weren't that many people to begin with. So when you got people coming over from Brum that had like a level, like I remember rolling with Bradley Hill and that, man. When he came over, man, and I was like, what the fuck, man? Like, you know what I mean? Like, because you feel like, you know, when you're like that 4-stripe white belt, you know what I mean? You're a line on the plane.